Midland Care Leadership Podcast. This is Shawn Sullivan. We're recording this on February 26, 2025, and the topic for this version of the podcast will be the Clifton Strengths Model and why we're doing it, how we're doing it, what our plans are. And I have Crystal Butler and Lamar on here to talk about it for this podcast. So real quick, a history on this, kind of rewind a couple of years back to 2021. And we were looking for, as a leadership team, a leadership model to bring on board to Midland Care and to find one that would have a training platform on it and different modules that we could use. And we evaluated several different offerings and eventually decided to go with this particular system of the Clifton Strengths Model because we felt like it brought the right approach, particularly of using strengths of staff and our valued employees and resources to the table and to bear that we could utilize through the system. So we had a training for the leadership team that was here at the time. I think there were somewhere around 40 to 45 leaders that went through that training, and we had a couple of outside consultants, Kristen O'Shea and Trey, can't remember Trey's last name, that came in and did it for us. And then since then, and really the 3 years since then, we've kind of had a system off and on, stop and starts. Some staff that we had that received the training early on, left the organization, and I don't know that we've really had a cohesive system that we've rolled out since then, although we have had various training for new staff, new leaders, new managers, and all that. So I think we're trying to figure out and trying to roll out just kind of a well thought out system for moving this model forward. We still think it's the right model for us that we want hardwired into our leadership at Midland Care Connection, Midland Care VNA CCH. And we now are blessed to have 2 certified trainers that have gone through the training for it, and they're both sitting here with me. So Crystal, Lamar, welcome to the podcast. Crystal, this is your first time. Lamar, I believe this is your second time, so I expect a better performance this time.
I don't have much to live by.
I'm just kidding, yes. So both of you, if you could start off with my normal question of what do you do at Midland? What should we know about you? Who wants to start?
So I could start. So I'm the Director of Human Resources here. I oversee talent acquisition, recruiting, benefits, onboarding, and all things kind of HR related.
Crystal.
I'm the Director of Education. I oversee the training and education for the organization. My role involves facilitating new hire training, creating and organizing educational events, as well as supporting employees and leaders in their professional development.
And what is one thing that most people within the Midland Care hemisphere do not know about you?
I think for me, I'm an avid learner. I love picking up new things and kind of learning them and figuring them out. So taking exams, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I kind of get in a lot of classes, take exams and stuff like that. So kind of an avid learner.
Crystal, what about you?
I think I'll go with something more personal. I don't think a lot of people know that I like to travel pretty much anywhere with sunshine, a beach.
I like that one. Good job, both of you. And I'll add in one that I haven't since I've been doing these. I am a descendant of William Bradford, who came over on the Mayflower and was the second territorial governor of the Plymouth colony. So really, I'm royalty, if you'd like to know.
Yeah, neither of ours were that good.
No, it's yeah. If you go to William Bradford's Wikipedia page, there's like 1 million famous people that are related to him, and I'm not on there. So we're going to start off with just the basics of the Clifton Strengths Model. So Lamar, can you give us a quick overview of what exactly this is?
Yeah, so basically it's a personality assessment. It's developed by Gallup. It helps individuals, kind of identify their top strengths based on, 30 4 unique talent themes. More so to look at the strengths rather than looking at weaknesses.
Very good. Thank you. So that's the what. What is the why? Why are we as an organization using the Clifton Strengths Model as opposed to something else?
We feel that the Clifton Strengths Model helps organizations create the ideal culture. Kind of what Lamar said, it focuses on the development of your employees' strengths versus fixing weaknesses, and that aligns with Midland's value of recognizing people as our most valuable asset.
The thing is, there's a lot of organizations using the Clifton Strengths Model for a wide variety of reasons. Some that kind of stuck out to us was, our employees become more productive, employees are more engaged, and there's more development. It's backed by decades of research. People who are using this model are 6 times more to be engaged when it comes to their organization, and 3 times more when it comes to, well-being and work-life balance.
Doesn't it also give just some good tools for leadership, like how to address conflict between employees, how to improve relationships, in addition to things that you guys mentioned about increased engagement?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And we'll kind of get into those strengths later. I think Crystal and I both have a couple of strengths that are similar that will kind of align with what you just said. So,
what about both of you personally in your leadership roles? Or why should we be personally using this model as leaders?
I'll take that one if that's okay. Yeah. So I think it kind of helps us. It will help us. It will help our leaders naturally lead. It kind of helps build more so a foundation that kind of helps them in their leadership career and something to kind of pull back from. So
I think for me, it helps you lead authentically by doing what comes more naturally to you, by understanding your own strengths as well as your team's strengths. It allows you to assign roles, responsibilities, and tasks that help create a more balanced team.
Okay, very good. So now on to the kind of the plan that we have for utilizing this in the future. So what is that plan, whether that be for new leaders, current leaders, leaders that have already gone through this, whoever wants to start?
Yeah, so we're still in the development stage, but ideally we want to have a structured approach that's going to give our leaders a foundation to kind of pull from. And, with that, we feel is going to help them in their leadership career. There are a lot of things that we're looking at doing, and I'll kind of let Crystal kind of touch on some of those things.
A couple things that we've been considering doing are adding some articles in the Friday newsletters, as well as doing activities and presentations at the quarterly leadership meetings.
What about leaders that haven't been trained on this at all, that weren't here in 2021, or the subsequent trainings? Are there going to be new courses or modules training for them?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to that foundation. That's really the key when it comes to it. If we can build that foundation for those leaders who are approaching this for the first time, we think that's going to be key. And, with that, they should be able to pull that and utilize it within the growth of their career as a leader.
I think additionally, one thing that we have talked about is bringing those leaders in from the original 2021 plan and seeing what they found beneficial in that training, and kind of using that to build for the new leaders that haven't received any training in it.
Not asking for specifics as to exactly when, but is this kind of more of a summer type of thing, or what are you thinking at this point as far as timeline to put you on the spot?
I think, summer's fair, when it comes to the different things that we can put in the newsletters. there definitely will be some highlights in the summer when it comes to the Clifton Strengths. We're not sure what that looks like. Will we have a workshop developed fully? That's, I can't answer that question. I don't know if Krista, you have a better idea, but I do know we do look at having at least something for the newsletters by that time.
Yes, and I think we have the in March, there's the conference, the Gallup conference in March or April coming up. So I think I'm hoping to take away some additional ideas from that.
What about what do you guys want to share as far as what your top strengths are and how you specifically use the model?
I can start.
Sure.
I think for my top, I can start with individualization. I think for me that helps me identify that everyone is unique. So when somebody's coming to kind of talk to me about something, I'm able to kind of identify their uniqueness. Something I'll kind of relate this to is benefits this year. We always do a survey, but we always put that information in to be able to provide the uniqueness of our staff so we can provide that type of benefit that was here to kind of help support them and their family. My second one is strategic. You can look at this in two ways, personally and professionally. Professionally, it allows me to kind of forecast and, see things in the HR realm that could be coming down the pipeline. But, when it comes to personally, I think, my daughter will probably be kicking me in the shin because, I've been strategic with where she's going after college, the last 18 years. And so, my next one is belief. This one to me is pretty easy. Really, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. I think then I kind of get into, I think the next one is, I know. The next one is learner. And this kind of relates to what I said at the beginning. I'm always picking up books and learning new things. You have to have this kind of skill, in my opinion, in this role because there's so many policies that change. There's so many procedures and there's so many bills that are signed, and you have to go out and do the research. And the last one is self-assurance. And this one to me kind of aligns with learner and kind of what I just said. It allows me to kind of stand firm to those policies and procedures within the organization.
So those are, back up a step, of the assessment when you completed it, it ranks your 34 strengths from strongest to number 34 of least strong, one way to put it. And those are your kind of top 5 that through the training or through this approach, we all kind of learn how to best use those 5 and how they interact with other people that are your peers, with perhaps the leader, supervisor, or those also on your team that report to you. So great examples of yours and kind of how you use them. So, Crystal, you want to take that one too?
Sure. My number 1 is relator. This strength has helped me build strong relationships with my team and colleagues. I've found that throughout my career that I really thrive and do my best work when I am able to collaborate with people that I have trusting, strong relationships with. These connections have created a supportive environment where I can create a good team and help them also develop and be more productive. My number 2 is learner. If there's any one of my strengths that probably annoys other people, it's probably this one. It makes me desire to understand why. So I question, why are we doing it this way? Not because I necessarily think it's wrong, but I just have instinctively, I want to understand the reasoning behind it. But that's allowed me to identify where improvements need to be made or they don't. It just has helped me expand my knowledge. My number 3 is individualization. I think that helps me identify the uniqueness within people, see special talents or even their learning style, and then I can adapt my approach to to interacting with them.
Very good. And actually, some of mine, I dusted off my profile from a couple years ago, and there's some overlap with the both of yours. So my top 5 are analytical, responsibility, deliberative, learner, and focus. And my takeaway from going through those at the time and thinking about it since then is I tend to have a very deliberative approach, an analytical approach to making decisions, whether short, medium, or long term. And I can drive, to use Crystal's words, people crazy with some of those. And if we are having issues around census or enrollment issues and pace, and we need to improve those, then I just want to see, just because of my mindset and personality, my strengths, want to see all the data behind it and the reasons behind the trend lines behind it, and willing to make changes and be risk tolerant to make changes and bring things on like VNA or pace expansion, but want to be very deliberate about that approach before we take the risk. So I think just going through those and looking at those a couple of years later kind of refreshed my memory on how to better use those just in my everyday or weekly leadership style or with my team. So moving on to wrap this up with Crystal and Lamar, can one of you share a story of someone that you trained or coached that's benefited as a leader from using this particular model?
I think, with the model, and I apologize, do you mind?
No, go ahead, please.
I think, regarding the model, it's kind of new to us. And for us, I think the people that we've trained and coached were in our training. And so I had the pleasure to be with a bunch of individuals that have never been through, the program before. And so it was kind of...
These were Midland staff?
No.
Or these were people that were going through the certified training with you?
Going through the certified training. And so it was kind of cool to see, those individuals kind of talking to them afterwards saying, this was great. I'm going to take this back. I'm going to do this based on what you said. And, it's just, it was a good feeling. And the thing is kind of funny because, me and Crystal talked about, when we took this course and the difference between my classmates and her classmates. And, I don't want to, speak for Crystal, but I'll kind of let her give her idea of what it was when she was in the course.
Oh, I thought I was in the wrong course. I called Carrie the first day on lunch and was like, are we sure I'm in the right place? Because most of the people in there were already strengths coached or had their own practices. And I was really the only one who had not gone through it yet. So I was able to take away, I think, probably my example would be myself, because I took away a lot from it because I was with a lot of people that was already doing it and able to coach me, right? So I've been able to apply my strengths, not just to understand myself better as a leader, but also to help my team and identify their strengths and then play to those strengths and develop those strengths. So
yeah, I will say, I happened to be in the office when you called, and your impression of the course kind of made me a little nervous.
Oh yeah, he was scared to take his.
So as our two official certified Clifton Strengths trainers, do you guys get a name badge? Did you guys get a polo or t-shirt?
We
and
did.
A hat?
I think
a badge.
We need a company credit card to assigned to us just for Clifton Strengths.
We'll have to think about that. Yeah, not about the credit card though, but thank you guys. Appreciate you both going through that, and would say you agree, just kind of stay tuned for more news on this. So this is something that we want to become a foundation of leadership within Midland Care Connection and have it integrated within our normal rhythms and routines of being leaders, offer training for new leaders that haven't gone through it, and just have the practices that are considered the best practices or tools as part of the Clifton Strengths Model integrated into our training that we have as a leadership team and to the different communication methods that we have. So be watching for that throughout this year as we put more information out, and just wanted this to be a reintroduction to the Clifton Strengths Model and what it is and why we're doing it, and a little bit about what is to come. So thank you for joining us, and until next time, thank you.